which is a great hero for their own composition, having the Fred, having the Brody, even for the Karita. You have immunity now for the CCs and ultimates that they can get from Philippines.
I would say that's clutch. That's a clutch pick because of the fact that if you just look at the first 3 picks for the Philippines, they're going for CC, right? They're going to go and try to stun, knock people up here, slow them down, but having this Diggy on Vin will alleviate some of that pressure, right, with the Time's Journey. So that is a great final pick here that typically we haven't seen too much of, right? We've seen him banned once, maybe, popped up in the group stage maybe once, but relatively we haven't seen him.
Well, now it's game time. Almost. In a few seconds, we're about to head to the Land of Dawn. This is the grand finals that we're about to witness. A best of 5 today. Once again, it's Philippines versus Indonesia. Facing once again in the grand finals of the World Esports Championships. Who is going to take the first point out of this series?
Okay. We'll see how they start this game. A lot of the times, like we said, you know, if it's your first time watching MLBB, early game is, you know, for these first few minutes, you're going to see some poking happening here and there, but really the job, oh man, 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 already taking quite a bit of damage. He's going to get hit. Oh, I don't think he's going to survive that. First blood already drawn by the Philippines here.
𝐅𝐿𝐄𝐒𝐅 with the rotation and response onto the 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 Canon. Meanwhile, up top here, Sakin and Vin. We have 2 roamers, we have 2 marksmen aiding this gold lane. Onto the visit of 𝐅𝐿𝐄𝐒𝐅 down bottom, actually aided more to decrease the fragile armor of 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 right away. This is one thing that you don't want if you're up against a 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃. You want to have the armor, you want to have that soak. But right now, onto the bottom lane, still the same thing happening.
Yeah, still pressure being put on here, right? As I was saying, both teams, another kill in the bottom lane against 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃. That is tough. He's now 0-2. I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to say, you know, Philippines might be looking for some pressure to get some resources out. I didn't think 2 kills this early on leading into that first turtle here. It looks like they want to have a response. 𝐶𝐷 and Moreno both making their way here. 4 members of Indonesia now focusing on this top side. Archangel here to respond. They can't find anything. And Turtle just coming up here very soon. You can already see Saison getting in position.
Now with the delay onto 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 onto deaths here. No ultimate available ready for team fights. Saison has good advantage of clearing or getting more of their AoE here, or even the quadrant on how to get this first objective. Meanwhile, we have 𝐶𝐷 as well, trying to get in for the action.
Okay, 𝐶𝐷, he wants to fight this with the retribution. It's going to come down to it. He does grab the turtle. Now has to stay alive. Appraiser's Wrath comes through. There's the last insanity. 𝐶𝐷 goes down. The flicker comes out too. Still going to be looking for Saison. A couple hits away. Moreno, can he grab it? He rolls away. Somehow surviving. 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 falls again. And Philippines still on the board. Indonesia only able to get the turtle.
Okay. They're willing to trade that. Philippines is willing to give up the first turtle up against Indonesia, but in that team fight, they disabled 𝐷 right away. But one thing also that was concerned there was how will they sustain the damage? And looking by the items in progress right now, we're looking at 4 tough boots present and warrior boots for the marksman, 4 Gatiana for the Philippines. On the other hand, if we're looking at the marksman progress right now, Blade of Hephaestus is already present for Brody. You've mentioned it earlier how this item pickup is so valuable, even starting early game. I say this time around, Vin could actually have a great rotation once if he gets more vision for his team, especially for a Diggy. He's not letting go of his gold lane just yet because of the pressure that was given down bottom on the XP.
Well, again, you know, just given the fact that in the XP lane, that's, at this point, the lane is won, right, for Canon. Going against 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 0-3 on this Xborg, who's relatively, you know, gonna have a hard time anyway, it's tough to deal with, you know, and as Canon gets more of these items, hold on to the top side, they already put in the pressure. 𝐶𝐷 there now to help Vin. Really low here. Archangel might be looking to follow up, not going to be able to find it though. And you can feel the tension in the top lane, man, right? They're just going to focus there because, again, that XP lane, they just got to leave 𝐷𝐷 here to his biddings at this point, right? Big thing though, even though he's 0-3, Last Insanity still plays a part in a lot of these skirmishes, a lot of these team fights to get them down low, hopefully on the health, and then have some follow-up. Sakin hasn't gone down yet, so he should be able to farm up pretty well on this Brody. Second turtle now up.
Second turtle is up. Second objective. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 is looking to poke on 𝐷𝐷𝐶𝐍𝐃.
All right, they're going to fight for it. Less than half health here. 𝐾𝐿 zoning them out the best he can. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐄 holding on a little bit longer. Times Journey comes out as well. Turtle secured by 𝐷𝐷𝐶𝐍𝐃 again. Gets the objective. Can they get the kill? Rough Waves will not find the connection they're looking for. 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐅 using his own last insanity. 𝐷𝐷𝐶𝐍𝐃 has to flicker out. Vin's going to fall. Still looking for a second kill here. One hit away, and they put the pressure once again, but Indonesia grabs the turtle.
That is a good distance retreat onto the ultimate that 𝐷𝐷𝐶𝐍𝐃 was going to give for the side of Philippines. That was a good initiation. That was a clapback. We were expecting more, that he could actually, that 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐅 actually would get the ultimate of the Rough Waves. But in the last part that we saw a few seconds ago, he took the ultimate of 𝐷𝐷𝐶𝍍𝐃. The complete additional burnout and having on level 7 with being a Valentina is a massive clapback in terms of those skirmishes that you actually could lose up against the composition of Philippines right now.
Yeah, it was nice to see that, and still another setup here. They finally get on the board. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐿 going to fall, but there's the response. They're going back for him. Moreno will fall. Vin has to get out of there. He's got the Times Journey still. So Indonesia gets on the board here. The kill going over to Moreno, that should help them a little bit, but this early game is definitely a struggle. Meanwhile, though, because of this objective taking from Indonesia, they've managed, despite these kills over on the Philippines, they've managed to keep the gold lead relatively okay, right? 1,000 or so gold ahead.
Yeah, Moreno was the first down to go after he was using the ultimate, and that was just the go time for Philippines to have a takedown for Indonesia. You mentioned how they're just keeping up with the objectives, they're keeping up with the economy. I said they have the eyes on, or even tabs for how they can get an advantage for Indonesia, even for the items. Philippines is building on the items right now to give a counter. Look at that, Finn flickered out.
Lynn's got to flicker out. There's the Time Journey of their own. 𝐷𝐷𝐶𝐍𝐃 can't get the Prisoner's Wrath off. He was looking for the kill. Not able to get it because he got stunned, knocked up there. Now the rest, Sakin waiting for the moment. He doesn't have the torn apart memory though just yet. Gonna get these marks off. Moreno going in, finding another kill. The flicker comes through, still on the follow-up. Could be in trouble. Only one down for the Philippines. Make it 2. Double kill for Sakin. 𝐸𝐿 joining the fight along with Sason. Gonna push them back now. Turtle still going to be worked on by Super Ken. He's not worried about it. That looks like it might be the third one. Waiting for this retribution. He's got it. 3 turtles for Indonesia. And now the junglers just battling it out, but they're back on the board and they swing things in their favor.
Moreno on the right target, taking down 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐿 first and Cannon, disabling the penalty zone combo, disabling that knockup, the wall charge, the wall from the initiation once they started to get that turtle. Now looking by the items right here, we're looking at burst, we're looking at the elegant gem also being built up slowly to get his, again, clock of destiny. But now with the priority of the Genius Wand, decreases the magic defense of Philippines right now. That's what they keep on bursting over and over again.
Wild Charge Flicker combination comes in, but there's 4 members here. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐿 cannot escape that. He knew it. Will fall right in front of the turret. And once again, Indonesia finding a win where they needed to. They're going to force 𝐸𝐿 back here. And as you were breaking down the items there, OSX, you saw Sakin is where he needs to be. As soon as that torn apart memory is up, you can expect them to put pressure. Sason now. Cannon's going to get knocked up here. The Rough Wave's already going to be used. There they go. Times Journey has to come out defensively, trying to keep them alive. Flicker comes through. Sakin's still alive too. Gets the torn apart memory off, and they're still going. Times Journey of their own for 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐿, forcing them back. It's a lot of poking back and forth. No one goes down, but all those resources expended.
Yeah, good frontline defense there. 4 members from Indonesia just took a hold and just prevented Philippines from taking down Sakin. He forced out a flicker out of that Brody, but one thing that they're considering here is to lower down the proc of the Blade of 𝐸𝐻𝐶. So as you all know who's watching us for the first time right here, 2-item pickup of a Brody right now. Having the passive of an ambush amplifies more of the damage if the Brody is not engaged or not being touched by any damage for a few seconds. But that is they're trying to prevent that. So with that, Super Ken is just also just clearing more of the waves here to get more items for 𝐷𝐷𝐶𝐍𝐃. Again, he fall down 3 deaths in the early game. He wants to get back up on his feet.
And not only that, but that he just picked up the Ice Queen Wand. That's crucial for him, right, on this export pick, because his job is just to slow people down and even get that last insanity off. He has the immortality, so he's got a little bit of extra defense here as well.
Yeah.
They're going to put themselves in a good position here for the Lord.
Yeah, speaking of positioning, we have Super Ken and 𝐷𝐷𝐶𝐍𝐃 zoning out 2, 3.
Son.
Moreno, though,
he's going to be in
for
trouble.
The splash.
There's the last insanity. They're forcing him back. 2 times Journey's being used here. Lord is still going to be worked on. Super Ken just forcing the Philippines back alongside his teammates here. They've asserted their position. Philippines might have to give this one away. 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 might look for an entry himself. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 as well. Wild charge, but it's too late. Super Ken grabs the Lord. Vin will fall, but here's the focus. 𝐈𝐄𝐄 going to get knocked up here. Looking for the kill. 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 goes in with a blazing duet.
Wow.
The wind of nature, though. Moreno goes down. They're still looking. Double kill for 𝐅𝐿. Able to grab another one. Super Ken and 𝐷𝐶𝑒𝑟𝑖ZO on the run. It could be dire, though. The penalty zone comes out. Super Ken left to his devices, 𝐈𝐿's wrath, but falls in the jungle. They get the Lord, but at the cost of a couple lives.
𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃, 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 with an entry. Mind you, when he wanted to go up front, up 4 against Indonesia, he didn't have the wind of nature yet. That was just damage building up. And when he knew that 4 ultimates were down and Indonesia, that was the time to use that blazing duet right on to 4. He has the Demon Hunter Sword, he has the Golden Staff, and just by that, he has extra damage to peel. And the fall of Canon and even 𝐅𝐿 was so beautiful to see. And that is just complete reinforcement, a quick response from Philippines.
Look at that. 𝐅𝐿 getting that times journey for himself. That's proving to be really valuable for a lot of these team fights, depending on what ultimate he takes. But Indonesia playing around that power spike they had by getting that Lord. It was only the first one of the game. It made quick work, right? Philippines made quick work of it. But still, Indonesia is doing it in terms of objectives. They've got the 3 turtles. They got the first Lord. Philippines is the one that has to figure out how to get these neutral objectives against Indonesia, because this is where teams usually lack against the Philippines, right? This portion of the game is where they really slip up and take things in control, but it's Indonesia that's doing it. And now they focus on these tier 2s, a huge flicker! Penalty zone from Canon with the times journey able to help them out. Can they follow up through it? Torn apart memory already going to be used. Rough waves as well, no one falling. 𝐈𝐄𝐄 goes in with a wild charge, finds Moreno. He will fall. It's a pickup, but the response from Super Ken and 𝐷𝐶𝑒𝑟𝑖ZO looking for their own response. Canon falls to the 𝐈𝐿's wrath. Blazing duet comes down 2 down, make it possibly 3. He holds on with the immortality now going to be popped. Can they get the kill here? He's still got the armor. 𝐅𝐿 in trouble too, and he falls to Vin. It's a bloodbath here in the mid lane, 3 for 3.
That was a complete tug of war. The disengage, the initiation from Canon with the flickering parity zone initiated the go time of Philippines. One thing that they missed there is they were looking for a way to take down Moreno. That was a good wall charge by 𝐈𝐿𝐄𝐄, but one thing they also were considering is how do you even catch Shaq? He was all over the distance. He was minding the gap, losing his ultimate at the right time. But one thing they had a way of to have to shut down 3 members of Indonesia there that was a complete disengage and again a back and forth.
Yeah, it was a bloodbath, man.
Completely disengaging. But now we're boiling down on the second objective of this game.
Can I just say too, great job for 𝐷𝐶𝑒𝑟𝑖ZO here. Again, he had a rough early game, 0-3. He's made it back, right? And a lot of times it's just doing what he's doing. Getting that Ice Queen wand proc, slowing people down, using Last Insanity. They're going to force Philippines back again for the most part of this Lord take. They're trying to get this one locked down. It's half health. 𝐅𝐿 with the times journey of his own.
𝐅𝐿 just completely got the ultimate of the Diggy. 𝐷𝐶𝑒𝑟𝑖ZO's ultimate is up, but he has no immortality.
Good reset.
Okay, there's a reset now on this Lord. I say in team fights advantage, Philippines has a window now to capitalize on, which they have for CC immunity and burst.
Keep an eye on the positioning, 𝐅𝐿 as well. They're trying to spot him out. He knows what his job is. It's to get a blazing duet off on multiple members here of Indonesia, putting the pressure on. But it's not going to happen yet. 𝐷𝐶𝑒𝑠𝑠𝑢N trying to roll around here. They're not sure if they want to commit to the Lord just yet. It is about 1/3 of the health here. Then Vin's in trouble. There's the blazing duet we were just talking about. Vin will fall. What's the response from them? Last Insanity popped as well. Socket in trouble. He goes down. It's a double kill. Both gold laners down here. The response is from Indonesia to keep going. Canon in trouble. Has the immortality. Will be popped here. And they follow it up with a kill. 𝐈𝐄𝐄 can't do anything but watch as he falls. And now it's 2 versus 3. Both junglers still up here. It is crucial. They can still fight with the retribution. 𝐈𝐄𝐄 goes in with a wild charge, trying to buy some time. trying to stall out Indonesia from taking this. Rough Wave's going to be utilized here. Saesun still being held back. Superkin now starting it up. They're waiting for the team to come up here. Last Insanity once again. Saesun will fall, and that means a Lord going in the hands here of Indonesia, unless they can do something about it, but it doesn't look like it. They grab that one.
I just got to commend Indonesia for that border control. You have 𝐷𝐶erezo, you have Vin, and you even have Moreno just looking up avenues on how will Philippines gain an entry on that Lord. Again, that objective, that major objective, going back on this replay, it was a back and forth.
Yeah.
The positioning of Riccobdiano was so crucial by just being in the death bush. He managed to get Vin, he managed to get Saga. That was a double for the Federin, gaining more advantage for takedowns.
Oh, this is troublesome. They're going to lose the base mid-turret here. Still going to be worked on. Penalty zone is utilized. They're waiting for the damage. Blazing Duet comes through. Is it enough to make them fall here in the jungle? Immortalities, multiple go off here, but Indonesia still fully
𝐷𝐶erezo
forced here. 𝐷𝐶erezo in trouble, couple hits away.
Woo!
They force 𝐕 back and Unigo falls. 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐅 comes in for a double. Still looking for another, but Moreno somehow gets away with a sliver of health.
Wow. The tug of war continues. 3-man down as well for these two countries. Riccobdiano really knows how to start a party. That blazing duet going back on this replay once again in this short corner. Vin was trying to get a hold of his own ultimate. They were forced to retreat back in this side corner. This was Unigo can completely shine. He used the wall charge. He proc and forced out something on Superkin, but most of the members of Indonesia having a slow slither of health as the damage of Riccobdiano is piercing through in their defenses. But from that moment on, Philippines respected the hell out of the damage, even the defense of their own opponent against Indonesia. Look at the board, 16-16.
At the 16.5-minute mark, both these teams giving us a show in Game 1 in this best-of-5 grand final. You can see just how familiar they are with each other here.
Yeah, speaking of familiarity, looking at all the items almost locked in, we have two members of Philippines right now who has more sustain. You have 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅, you have Radiant Armor, sustaining more of the magic damage that Moreno has and always for against 𝐷𝐶erezo. He has the Ice Queen 1 for the slow though, but mostly, as you can see on our screens, we're looking at three members who actually has more advantage in soaking up team fights. So you have, that's 3 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 on our screens. From 𝐷𝐿𝐴, from Bragg, even from Cannon. So more of this could actually initiate the fights, especially that we've seen from early game. You have that Flicker ult combo, you have Wave Sustain, you have Spell Vamp having a present for Cannon. So what they need right now is to see. They need to look at on how Indonesia is rotating, because there's only one turret left for Philippines to defend. There's two problems. How do they get to the backline of Indonesia? How do they get to defend this base? But that is the answer. They have a claw. They have more ways to wave clear and also split. Mind you, that is still a threat in the late game.
With that, next Lord now up here. Indonesia in position. Philippines really has to approach this, as you were saying, OSX. You know, they have the tools they need, and a lot of that is negated just by a time's journey. So you almost have to just overlap things perfectly to get this team fight in your favor, or it comes down to the positioning and the conceal play.
Now, speaking of conceal, in position, 3 members of Philippines right now eyeing on 𝐷𝐶erezo.
Okay, Riccobdiano also making his way here. Cannon gonna go in, he jumps in with the penalty zone. Here comes Unigo looking for the wild charge. He has to wait, time's journeys, both teams gonna be used. Riccobdiano finds the mark on the blazing duet, forcing them back. 𝐷𝐶erezo still alive, but in the mid lane, they battle it out. Sakin with a torn apart memory will not find a kill. Philippines stays healthy. Indonesia down 1 member. They can still contest the Lord here. If the Philippines grabs this Lord, they will surely march into the base of Indonesia. This is crucial for them.
Yes, speaking of crucial, that backline entry from Cannon and Unigo is so effective for Riccobdiano's entrance with Blazing Duet. But one thing that they're seeing here, we're seeing on our screens, Vin on this Diggy is giving so much vision for Indonesia right now, even he falls down first.
Superkin getting in position. He knows what he's got to do here. They got to zone him out. Cannon again jumps in with a flicker. Penalty zone. Lord secured for the Philippines. They're turning it around here. Unigo goes in with a wild charge, focusing on 𝐷𝐶erezo, but in the backside, Riccobdiano using that blazing duet, firing off Before he has to back out as well, they have the Lord. They can't fall here. Lord already up down the bottom side. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 will fall. And Indonesia responds the 1-for-1, but Lord secured for Philippines.
Clearly getting that win. 2 jungles fall down. Super Ken and 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅. From that moment that Cannon initiated a flicker penalty zone, it was just the right corner for 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐄𝐅 to utilize with the walls and the passive of Grok. Looking at this replay, the amazing entry of that 𝐷𝐸𝑅 onto 2 members forced Indonesia to react, forced 𝐷𝐸𝐿 to use that last insanity, but with the knockup of 𝐈𝐈𝐠 right onto the wall on that corner, gave so much rate for the damage to pierce through, making 𝐷𝐸𝐿 so effective with the damage of the Blazing Duet. This is the prowess of winning condition of a Claude being present in Philippines.
Okay, here it is. They should be able to clear this. They're quite stacked on the items. They're zoning once again. Penalty zone comes through. They hold on to the turret, so despite that, Indonesia holds on with a great high ground defense. Given the situation, they're back at it. It's still over a minute and a half for that next Lord to come up. It's up to these 2 teams to find wins. Now for Philippines, what did they get out of that Lord? They got a few turrets. They got a little space to work with now.
Yeah, gaining more on the presence of having a push, having a great clear against Indonesia. Yes, slowly they're getting something out of it. This is the late game. This is the window of their own lineup. Late game composition, Claude, a walking winning condition, just in case they would need more extra damage. There's 𝐷𝐸𝐿, there's also Cannon for the spell valve. What we're trying to say here is they have more winning condition, as you said, more tools, tools almost complete. They can actually interchange more of the items now on how to counter sustain, how to counter movement speed, because in Vision, and even for team fights, Indonesia needs more ways of discovering where will the penalty zone will land. Where will 𝐈𝐈𝐠 come from? Look at this, the control. Look at the control over the map right now that Philippines is doing.
Look at that poke damage, right? That's just from 𝐷𝐸𝐿. A couple shots. Super Ken's got to respect it. He does have the immortality. But, you know, good point here, OSX, because at the same time, like we saw from that previous highlight, Kenon had a great flicker penalty zone combination on this 𝐷𝐸𝐿, but unfortunately, you know, timing-wise, 𝐷𝐸𝐿 was a little bit too far. The rest of the team was a little bit too far. If it happened a little bit differently, that timing, that down to a couple seconds, could really change the course of a lot of those fights.
Yeah, speaking of changing course, in team fights, if you miss the chance for a setup for Indonesia's lineup, they have Moreno, you have the Kadet that could actually evade by using that rough waves. This is one thing that you have if you have this kind of lineup. Either you use it against your enemy team or they force it against you. But looking at it right now, we have Indonesia eyes on the Lord. But 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅's not letting go on Vision as well.
Yeah, look at the placing. You have to keep an eye on the map here. Positioning crucial. Both junglers are just going to stay around this Lord, buying time. Anything that really stands out about these 2 teams, Philippines and Indonesia, is the fact that they've mastered what we call this Lord dance. Both teams just trying to basically gauge each other. Who's going to commit? There's the conceal from 𝐈𝐈𝐠. The rest of Indonesia also making their way. They had the information they needed. And they know that that conceal is down. The surprise factor is not there anymore. Still going to be working on it. That's the reset. And this is the strength of having a Grok. He's going to use that Guardian's Barrier to go ahead and reset the Lord here. Now both teams know 5 versus 5 around the Lord, the most crucial one of the game. This is that 4th one. It gets much tougher to deal with the more Lords they go through. So now, once again, they find themselves at a stalemate.
They know each other so well that if one jungle is just showing up in this objective, some point of the game actually might happen or even might have a push. But looking at how they're so experienced in this kind of challenges, they know what to feel and what to decide.
𝐷𝐸𝐿 already used that torn apart memory. They might try to buy a little bit more time here for that to be up. Both junglers still at it, dancing in front of this Lord, pretty much dealing with it. They do have immortalities as well, so they have to be careful how they decide to do this. Canon's gonna jump in. That's what we're talking about. 𝐷𝐸𝐿 following up with the Blazing Duet. And in a split second, they'll collapse on Indonesia. 𝐷𝐸𝐿 in trouble. Couple shots away. It's a disaster for them around this Lord. 𝐷𝐸𝐿 flickers out defensively. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅's gonna chase him down. Rolls in. looking for that immortality, will not be able to find it, and they have to go back to this Lord. But Indonesia does not want them to just take it freely, but it looks like they call it back. Give it to them, and we just defend.
Cannon with the Turisla, the element of surprise, forced out ultimates out of Indonesia. The two most crucial pickoffs just happened, Sakin and Vin.
Oh, I think they're gonna press the situation. Wild charge, into the turret they go. Moreno can't find the connection he's looking for. Holding on here they do. 𝐷𝐀𝐍𝐃 gonna force them back with his own blazing duet. BMI's back to safety. And they press them back. Ultimates are online except for Moreno here. Indonesia, can they defend this? They should have a full force to deal with this Lord. Once again, it will most likely charge up into that turret here. So slowly but surely, Philippines gaining ground for this game number 1. They're gonna hold it here, and Indonesia hangs on.
25 minutes. We're in the ultra late game where
long
death
game.
timers are much longer. One crucial pickoff, either from these two countries, once they spot on someone out isolated on the map, that is the advantage of having a disable and the power of their late game composition. Now we're looking at the defense of Indonesia right now onto the base. We're see some items be switched up here. We're looking at the power. We're looking at the defense of Moreno. He now has the Winter Truncheon, able to force, able to have an invulnerability.
This is tough.
Even burst down from Philippines.
The tough part here is the fact that you have everybody item locked. They're going to be switching items, like you mentioned, right? And it comes down to these micro decisions. In that sense, immortalities, right? Once they're expended, you're going to expect them to pick up these Winter Truncheons or these Wind of Natures, flip things out, even those Rose Gold Meteors, right? And at that time, especially dealing with Moreno, you just have to dodge that initial burst for the most part. But right now, what it's looking like, both teams having some of their bases exposed, Indonesia's turrets a couple hits away. This is where it gets a little dicey, because what we've seen before too is not so much focused just on the Lord at this point, right? This is gonna be the 5th Lord. It's almost game ending for most matches, right? We're nearing that time. But not only that, but when teams focus so much, they're hyper-focused on dealing with that Lord, the split push comes through. So they have to keep an eye on that here for Indonesia.
Things could happen all over the place, all over the map. Good point there about the split push. We're looking at Sakin, we're looking at 𝐷𝐀𝐍𝐃. Damages right now is actually showing up on the roof, but one thing also saw right there when he had to hover on the items, we have two members of Philippines has the Queen's Wings. Probably countering out the damage reduction of Indonesia's damage right now that could be so high because with the Brody and even for 𝐷𝐿, you have more ways to even compensate for that, just in case for a team might just happen. As you mentioned about the map being all things can be considered.
Yeah.
Split push, actually diversion. It's present for these two MLBB giants that actually they keep on experiencing even in their own leagues. So it's so nice to see that there's a lot of tension, a lot of surprises can happen.
Wow.
But look at that. There's some folks, so much immortality right now on our screens.
Yeah, they're already going to force Sason, right? So off the Lord here. Got to keep an eye out again on the placements. Specifically, what's going on at the bottom side of the map. Moreno also trying to find some, this might work. Whoa. It does, it at least gets the immortality. Still has to follow up. Trees are going to go in with the last Insanity. 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐾 in trouble, but he has the Winter Truncheon. Cannon can't help him. He falls, but look at the bottom side. This is what we were talking about, the split push they might be going for. They still have to deal with here. The penalty zone will not be able to find the mark. Revenge strike comes through. Can he salvage this fight on the top side? Meanwhile, in the base, Vin fell. 𝐷𝐀𝐍𝐃 is still there, but good thing Sakin went back. So the base is handled. Sason and Cannon trying to get out of here. They're going to lose their jungle. That's big for Indonesia here. They managed the split push. They won that fight around the Lord. And now they can decide, do we go for it? 3 down for the Philippines.
3 crucial takedowns with just the presence of Moreno, Super Cannon, Vin being on the base and being on the side of the Lord. They were able to sustain that burst. They were able to sustain that CC coming in from Cannon. putting the right amount of people with the burst here. Cannon's trying to hold off as well.
Canon trying to buy time. He needs a lot of it. It's him versus the world right now. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 up here. He's going to go ahead, try to block some of these minions. Immortality will be popped. Wild charge. He's holding on. He doesn't have it just yet. He cleared the minions, though, for now. Is it enough time? 𝐅𝐄𝐒𝐅 now up. Can they defend this by themselves? The base is going to be worked on by Sakin, and it looks like Indonesia will draw first blood in a long game here in a best-of-5.
𝐈𝐄𝐿. There's 2 mages.
Interesting.
Okay, yeah, disable. You have a complete debuff. You have a complete pushback on this cow, on this Minotaur, and also for the Grok. Even for the boxers, there's a lot of ways to secure the board, because that was the problem in game number 1.
Yeah.
How do you protect that? How do you have the border control if you're up against a lineup that's so strong on damage that is building up on delay game? I think this is a good path for Philippines.
Yeah.
And it's having a good jump start for the early game. Paired with Pharsa, paired with 𝐕𝐿𝐼𝐿, I think that's good.
The only thing that, 𝐕𝐿𝐼𝐿 is great because of just the way that his kit works, his mechanics. He's throwing fireballs. You land a couple in a row, you get a stun off, you can push the enemy team back. And, you really have to be on point for the most part with your fireballs and everything. But also, once that kit is up, you're kind of just running around for the most part, right? So really has to scale into this game.
Yeah,
𝐕𝐿𝐼𝐿 in a way is a little bit of a risky choice, but we'll find out, right? We are going to get a little bit longer here to talk about this because 𝐕𝐿𝐼𝐿 is not typically a hero you see pop up. Usually teams do like to pick this up. Well, we're jumping back into the game here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Game number 2. Indonesia drawing first blood in this grand final best-of-5. Can the Philippines even it out? You're going to see them really trying to put pressure here early on, utilizing this 𝐕𝐿𝐼𝐿 pick. That's what you see 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 doing here. He has to be landing these fireballs and everything else. But at the same time, you have a couple defenses, right? And you are quite squishy. You can see it right here. Already half health. It's got to be careful.
Yeah, 𝐕𝐿𝐼𝐿 roam early on, you need to be wary of your distance. You need to be wary of your spacing because at some point early game, Super Ken and Vin with this kind of pair up, you could actually poke a lot out of this 𝐕𝐿𝐼𝐿. So you need to be careful as well. That's the knock up from Vin. Using the concussive blast, pass it front, hit him down. Fireballs connecting onto 𝐈𝐶𝐿. Hitting level 4. Will he be able to make it for the Appraiser's Rat? Just continuing that spam. 𝐈𝐶𝐿 is completely peeling off slowly members of Indonesia.
Again, these burst fireballs, right, are crucial.
Cannon dropping low. Will he be still able to escape this one? Cannon falls down. 𝐷𝐶𝐿 takes the first blood.
Man, it's a revenge, right? It's 𝐷𝐶𝐿 getting the first blood here in that XP lane, dealing with Cannon on this 𝐷𝐶𝐿. So, and to be honest, honestly, we haven't seen too much XP lane Grok, right, for the most part. Before, it was rather popular in a lot of other tournaments, but it's kind of fallen off a little bit. We're going to take a look at the replay here. This is kind of how it started again. That's just his death, but it was a well-played maneuver from Indonesia. Now with the first turtle up.
Looks like Vin going to be called up by the stunt. Now with the Astral Recall being placed, 𝐅𝐿𝐿 secures the kill with a Feather Airstrike. 𝐈𝐄𝐿𝐼𝐿 trying to hold in with the border. With the reason of the turtle here, Philippines is looking forward more securely or securing the first objective of this game by just getting that purple out.
Both these gold laners gonna pretty much size each other up in this early game. Turtle still gonna be worked on here, right? It looks like Philippines wants to go for it, but the response from Indonesia.
Cannon dropping down low on HP. There's some knock-up onto the follow-up of 𝐷𝐶𝐿's wild charge. 2-man bouncing off on the air. Vin takes down 1 Indonesia. Completely bouncing back with his skirmish. Super Cannon 𝐷𝐶𝐿 takes down 𝐈𝐶𝐿. Follow-up here with the Feather Strike for 𝐅𝐿𝐿. Will make it through the peel. Completely getting that objective. Indonesia winning that team fight.
Yeah, so again, it's still relatively even, right? But Turtle was secured there by Super Ken. He's been pretty on point for these objectives early on. Great initiation. Even 𝐷𝐶𝐿 using that wild charge. Great Appraiser's Wrath response, but you can see there's a lack of damage right now. And yes, these are 2 magic damage dealers, but they still need time to scale up a little bit, right? Right now, economy-wise, pretty even. Nothing too big happening. That is 𝐸𝐸𝐿𝐼𝐿 picking up a DHS, though. He's got the Demon Hunter sword.
He's not letting go of Cannon right now, using the penalty zone counters, trying to slow him down with the turret sprays down right under the turret. He flickers in.
Wow.
Cannon trying to evade, he's trying to micro and right onto the turret, still sustaining that with a protection of his own outer turret energy shields. He lives.
Okay, again, you can see the focus on these XP lanes, right? They want to slow them down as much as possible. And that's the great thing about, anyway, 𝐄𝐅, right? This XP lane is because of his passive, the Body of Smith. When he gets lower, right, he gets a little more tankier. It's harder to kill him. And at the same time, he's got Brave Smite, the emblem there that lets him, when he uses his abilities, he gains some health back. So that's what's making it so hard for them to capitalize on that kill in the bottom lane. So as we see Indonesia put pressure there, for how long though, right? How long can they continue to put that? Because at the end of the day, Canon, just like 𝐷𝐿 previously, even if you start out slow, at some point, mid-game, late game, your job is literally to be a front man and also hopefully land those penalty zones. But you can still see pressure being put here on Canon.
Eyes on XP, 𝐷𝐿 and Ken. Super Ken just poking out Cannon to just go out of the Tone turret. Now second circle is up though. As I recall, and Echo connecting to 𝐷𝐿 and 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅. Indonesia's present as well. Finn trying to use and utilize more of some knockups. 𝐷𝐿 has been disabled, but Finn as well trying to hold on with a follow-up cannon here in 𝐷𝐿. Trying to eye on taking this one. Moreno though trying to walk in from behind. 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐅 still spamming all the way. Looking that damage coming from that appraiser, but 𝐷𝐿 secures the kill.
Okay, a response for that, but still giving up these turtles here, or at least being taken from under their noses. Indonesia doing a great job securing early objectives. Can they maintain it? Gold, economy-wise, pretty even. Interesting pickup too for 𝐷𝐿, picking up that 𝐶 already this early on. That was his first item that he rushed here. So his job is literally to reduce some of that sustainability, some of that healing that's going on for the Philippines here. And they're off to a good start on countering some of that. Now Philippines, on the other hand, you know, neither team has a turret down just yet. Next big objective is that turtle about a minute away here. Things will start to fall into place because both these fights now have been 4 versus 4, right? The gold laners haven't been there. They've been farming up.
𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅, wow, Saken secures the kill. The advantage, half HP on to Ricardiano, using that blazing duet to escape. Now 𝐷𝐿 with a follow-up and the taking of the kill. 𝐷𝐿 now being bursted down by 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐅, trying to get revenge out of the kill out of Ricardiano and 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅. Now they're forced to clear more of the waves. They're forced to answer more and taking more turrets slowly out of Indonesia.
So with that, they're able to grab a good play on the top side. Philippines might be looking to make a response though, right? They have to. This is also a big item pickup for 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅. At this point, almost 7 minutes into the game, it's getting crucial. These first and second items. Look at this as the replay. The shot lined up from Saken, able to get the kill. That's what I was talking about. And then keep an eye on 𝐷𝐿 here. Comes in with a great wild charge flicker combination. Great setup, top side. So now third turtle is up for the game. Do both teams go at this 5 versus 5, or they keep doing it with just part of their lineup? Here they go.
𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐅 and half an HP knockup coming in from Vin. Now being bursted, the 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐅 uses his own passive to escape that wrath. But 𝐷𝐿 though, looking for a way to take him down Vin. Now looking for an avenue. Super Ken being trapped in for 𝐷𝐿. Can't do much. Now with the damage, all just checking just to take down Super Ken. Ricardiano secures the kill. That was 4 from Philippines trying to take him down.
Tough to deal with there, right? But Philippines at least gets themselves a turtle. So it's not a clean sweep for the turtles. For Indonesia, they have some fight in them, right? That's why I was saying a lot of these items that are being picked up now at this point in the game are crucial. They'll turn the tide of some of these early skirmishes going on. Even if we take a look at this, right? Scaling department-wise for the Pharsa pick on 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐅, he has that COD. He's building up into a second item. It should be proving a point, especially when we get to the Lord fights, right? You need that burst damage available to the team here. And at the same time, you've got the slow already with the Ice Queen Wand for 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅. So as they continue to scale up, will they be able to go toe-to-toe with these objective takes in about a minute from now? Here you go. You guys can see the items as well. 2 of the items locked in here for Ricardiano. And on the other side, Beatrix only has this BOD, right? Saken needs a little bit more time to get the next item here. Probably the Malefic Roar. That's tough. 𝐷𝐀 goes down.
𝐷𝐀 securing a kill. 𝐷𝐀 gets his own first death. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 though, damage now slowly scorching it through the damage. 𝐷𝐿 as well. This is top lane contention.
Yeah.
They're not letting go of this top lane just yet. It's 9 minutes into the game, and they don't want to let go of the control of their own defenses. We have the first Lord to show up, and just by looking at how they want to answer this, you want to hold and just be cautious of their next steps. 𝐷𝐀 using the penalty zone onto 2 will be able to secure a kill here. Feather Airstrike connected onto 2 as well. Burst down, will this be the answer? 𝐾ANON falling down the hands of Moreno, securing another point for Indonesia. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 here trying to hold off and clear something out. Philippines taking another death, and that's for a 𝐾ANON.
Yeah, then, okay, I was going to say he's going to land that fireball. He doesn't. So, unfortunately, but there is the Malefic Roar being picked up now by 𝐷𝐀, even though he went down just a little bit ago. That'll help them shred through some of these defenses from the Philippines. Now that they secure their buffs here, they're going to have to go ahead and fight for this. Less than half health.
Saison trying to taunt in 𝐷𝐿 with a follow-up from 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐅, being trying to burst 𝐾ANON and 𝐷𝐿. Now they disengage. They just want the objective. They just want the poke. 𝐷𝐿 taking down 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 once again. And they just want to hold off. It's just the objective. It's just the items. And Philippines trying to get a trade. Taking down the first turret now with a follow-up. 𝐵IN falling down in the hands of 𝐾ANON. Saison looking for a way to take this purple for himself.
Look at that. I mean, yes, the Lord went in the hands here of Indonesia, but Philippines knowing that, they try to find a counter-punch themselves, some form or another. That was the first turret they were able to secure now. Here's the answer, though.
Now being stunned right onto 3. Saison takes down 𝐷𝐀, finally getting a kill.
Wow.
Follow up with Super Can. 𝐾ANON takes a point as well. 𝐾ANON looking for a way to chase off or push 𝐷𝐿 out of the equation. But 𝐕 with the follow-up in the trade. They take down slowly their objectives to their own hands. A push down bottom.
Again, great response here from the Philippines. Even giving up or having that Lord taken from them. They handle it quickly, they get a couple kills, they get a lead, right? They have now a very short, small lead in the gold department. They're going to be able to scale up with some of that. Now Indonesia has to be able to respond, right? Yes, they're getting these objectives. They have to continue to get that space in terms of, areas around the map. Both teams have 2 turrets down, right? Now, the big part of this, if you're Indonesia, is also, you got to get that tier 1 down in the mid lane, man, because as the next Lord comes up, that small advantage of having this turret will play a part in that Lord dance, right? They'll be able to manage some of that wave a little bit better, so that should be job number 1 before this Lord comes up. Moreno picking up an Ice Queen wand will help pick off a little bit, slow things down, but this is what I was talking about. At some point, 𝐼𝐄𝐅 will have that Divine Glaive that he needs, a little more bursty on this Sparta now.
Spotted down 1, Super Ken receives the poke. 𝐾ANON, Saison eyeing over Super Ken and 𝐷𝐿. That's a follow-up, that's a flicker onto 𝐾ANON. He's still sustaining it though. 𝐕 trying to find an avenue. Where will he go in? That's a 3-man knockup. Saison takes down 𝐷𝐿, and it's a follow-up being using the Federation against Philippines right now. 𝐼𝐄𝐅 takes another kill. 𝐷𝐿 falls down. Saison with the follow-up. 𝐵IN being taken down. 3 members out of Indonesia.
Man, 𝐈𝐄𝐅 just cooked 𝐵IN right there with the fireball, literally cleaning that up. And that is tough, right? It looked so good for a moment because the Minoan Fury was great. It found multiple members, but the response from the Philippines, they overlapped some of those ultimates very well. And even 𝐸𝐿 able to go in with Blazing Duet. He used that Purify. He goes back in with the BMI, safely surviving that in exchange. Now that this Lord is up, still going back to the point, Indonesia still doesn't have that tier 1 in the mid lane down. This makes it a little bit harder dealing with this space to work with, right? You're going to see them bunch up here. They have to get this information, but it's quickly taken down.
𝐸𝐿 trying to poke down Super Ken. His health is dropping by the second. Now 𝐾ANON secures another knockup, being taunted by Saison. Now Super Ken falls down, follow-up of 𝐾ANON. Now 𝐵IN being in trouble. Appraiser's Rock connecting to the damage. Saison takes down 𝐵IN. 2-member down on the Lord and the push in the mid. Philippines slowly getting a grip on the push and slowly eyeing on the base of Indonesia.
Again, a win there for the Philippines, furthering that gold lead. They might just look to push it in here. timers aren't too out of control, but unless they press this situation, this could be 1-for-1.
1-for-1, base is open. Philippines might able to take it down 𝐷𝐶erezo. Cristiano getting a point on the damage. Now Philippines once again pushing slowly.
No minions.
Eyeing top
Just yet.
third here. Minions just pushing in. Can Moreno and Sak in defense. Super Ken as well, but it's too much already for Indonesia. Philippines bounces back with one. With this kind of way of disturbing all of the lanes, even their own camp has an advantage of damage just by having a great start early on.
Okay, as both teams have their compositions locked in, we'll have to see exactly, again, on the execution factor for both of them. We know that they can control the early game really well. We know they like to pressure these side lanes. We'll see if they can do it.
It's game number 3. 1-1. Indonesia versus Philippines having the same point. As we dwell upon all those choices back in the draft, this is a greater choice now for 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅, having that Minoan Fury, having that knockup as you mentioned. The space right now that they can do for team fights is so important. In game number 1, they were trying to look for an opportunity to make the perfect set, because at some points in this kind of lineup, when you're up against a fan, even a Melista, you might want to penetrate from the back.
Yeah, you have to focus on that, right? Again, when we talk about this Fanny pick alone, we talk about specifically high risk, high reward. You know, when we saw this even yesterday, we're like, man, okay, when you pick in a Fanny, for example, you're either Indonesia can execute that the way they wanted to go with this draft. It's super important that they really utilize it.
Yeah, now early game. Okay, going back. Slowly on to this best of 5. It's game number 3. Philippines versus Indonesia. Having the same point. And then as we wait to get into the land of dawn, a lot of things can be speculated. A lot of things can be broken down.
There we go.
But how will the execution work though? Early game, we have level 3 onto 𝐷𝐾𝐍𝐃 and 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅. And Cristiano, having the AJ for the gold lane, pushes a lot of pressure. Look at that. Oh, speaking of which.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Super Ken looking for that first blood. Great defensive maneuvers. Vin could be in trouble now. Nowhere to escape. A couple hits away. Who's it going to? They give it to 𝐷𝐾𝐍𝐃 on this Farsa. Solid pickup.
Good response. Good follow-up though. Early game, they know that they need more great start with the waves and also getting at the items. But that was just 4 members trying to take down Vin. An amazing response, an amazing follow-up. That slows down more of the potential for, again, for the objective that can be taken, but he's still stuck on level 3 as of now.
And as we get through this, right, this is the first turtle now up here. And with that first blood, it will help them a little bit. It's not going to change the course too much. Both teams still trying to get to level 4. This could, though. So 𝐷𝐶erezo might be in trouble. Fraser's Wrath not going to find the kill there. Had to use the Consecrate. His ultimate's down now. Should be able to regen a little bit, but still, Philippines in control of this first turtle. Vin also making his way, not able to get that level 4 just yet. They're going to have to battle this out. Might just go in the hands of the Philippines. Nowhere to be found. Super Ken, there it is, the retribution. Turtle secured here for Philippines early on. And it looks like they're going to keep going. Vin going to be in trouble, falls once again in the hands of 𝐷𝐾𝐍𝐃, gets the second kill. It was Super Ken trying to put the pressure on the purple buff, trading that objective possibly to take some resources, and that will not work for their favor.
Good front line cover. Follow-up from 𝐈𝐄𝐄𝐅 and wings by wings from 𝐷𝐾𝐍𝐃's trying a bit of a burst poke against Uranus and as well as the 𝐷𝐾𝐍𝐃. Now looking by this progress right now on our screens, and even for the items, you have the Clock of Destiny present for 𝐷𝐾𝐍𝐃, and as well as slowly building up for defense for the export, we have the Warrior Boots. So maintaining more of these lanes. Hold up, 𝐷𝐶erezo up against 3.
Yeah, that's tough, right? Again, we did mention in the draft, he's going to be going 1 versus 3, but not there. That time it didn't work out for him. He needs a little bit more time to get a little tankier. This is crucial though, man. Early on, we're just nearing the 4-minute mark. And when you have a Farsa this stacked 3-0 early on, it's tough to deal with because the burst potential comes way sooner. So now we'll see them fight it out, putting the pressure on the purple buff. They know how much Super Ken needs it here. They either want to force out the retribution or possibly steal this themselves. Everybody joining the fight at this point. They're going to go for it. Super Ken will fall. Canon on the run. 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 was trying to get the kill, won't be able to get it, has to back off. It's getting tough here for Super Ken. Again, this is what you want to do when you pick a high assassin-based hero like Fanny. You want to be able to scale really quickly, fast, and it's not happening right now for Indonesia.
𝐅𝐄𝐒𝐅, with just having a small amount of health, good positioning and utilization of the feather airstrike, aided a kill from Indonesia, taking down Super Ken by just taking his own purple, pushed him in a corner to even respond for a defense. So that was a good way of pressuring them. As you mentioned, being dependent onto the purple buff is one thing that they can utilize against them. So we have the turtle up, and Philippines has more control here onto their own area. So 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 and 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅, though,
They just give it up.
give it up as well. So Vin trying to see a potential for a rescue battle, but no, he just taking some vision now.
Yeah, Vin might be in trouble once again. This could be a third death, and it is. 𝐅𝐿𝐄𝐄 picks up the kill here. And what you're seeing is just Indonesia trying to find some type of win. If that's just these buffs, if that's just these camps around the map, trading these objectives, it's what they have to do. At this early point in the game, with this momentum-based lineup, their backs are against the wall, right? So in essence, Super Ken gets this orange buff here on the side of the Philippines. They might look for a moment, look for a play, but look where 𝐈𝐄𝐿 is here. He's going for the purple buff. So they might clash here. The fight for it. Look at the pressure. 𝐅𝐿𝐄𝐄 has to go out with the wings by wings. There's the feathered airstrike. Quite a bit of damage, though. Super Ken will fall. Can't get away with the cables. 𝐈𝐄𝐄 did fall as well. They finally get on the board here, but 𝐷𝐷𝐾 also went down. Off-camera kill here. 2 fall for Indonesia, plus the first turret of the game in the hands of the Philippines.
Clearly, Philippines having a great start with the push and also with the takedown. Super Ken falling down again. 0-2-0. Having the plate of Heptasis press on his first item actually denies the passive of the proc. The ambush, speaking of which, take that down. Super Ken has taken another, again, an objective and a kill for his own.
Man, right now, like I said, you're kind of just scraping for what you can, you know, and with Super Ken getting that kill there, that is probably one of the better things that can happen to him at this point in the game. You know, he's losing some of these buffs, he's finding what he can, and so that's literally the response, right? 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃, once again, trying to go multiple members here, can't heal up enough, will fall in enemy territory. It's getting dicey there for 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 in that XP lane.
Yeah. XP lane right now is getting more attention. So into its own lane of Cannon right now, still holding his own defense with a standing of 8-2. Advantage of gold and economy is now with Philippines. Last turtle of the game, Indonesia would really want to contest this. They need that extra boost on the gold right now. He needs more items. They need more items for damage. Meanwhile, on down bottom, Cannon has his own immortality and just looking away to take down this turret.
And as they go through this game, you can already see the nice lead that Philippines has garnered themselves. That's going to be another turtle for 𝐈𝐿𝐿. Vin, taking the brunt of the damage, is quite tanky at this point, though, despite going down multiple times. Can he hold on a little bit longer? The rest of his team not able to help him. It's just him versus 4, whittled down, taken out here by 𝐅𝐿𝐄𝐄. Another kill in the hands of this gold lane. 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 just trying to hold it down. This is looking rough. Oh man, he almost got away, but paired up there. A great combination from the Philippines.
Level 11. 𝐈𝐄𝐿 on this Fredrin, onto this taunt, onto this tool. By this alone, adding so much engage, so much gank on the own lane. Speaking of which, Super Ken now being spotted down, being spotted up by Cannon and 𝐈𝐄𝐿. 𝐅𝐿𝐄𝐄 now has the Wind of Nature, and this might be a greater chance to even hold the front line, but just being and connecting more of his hits. But now we can't actually move out or trying to remove 𝐷𝐷𝐾 out of the picture. He's building up with his items. He has the corrosion side, he has the DHS, probably building up to amplify those basic hits. Having or using the models right away in these kind of team fights can actually work for Indonesia.
This is tough. The assault in the mid lane, tier 1's the focus here. Vin will take the brunt of the damage. Isn't able to keep them at bay. Canon goes in with the last insanity, finds another kill. So 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 falls for the 4th time here. It's getting tough. Moreno now looking to hold down the mid lane as much as possible. Has to flicker out too. You wonder if it was worth it even going that far in the mid lane. And now down a flicker here. 20 seconds away from this Lord. 3 turtles taken by the Philippines. Is Indonesia actually in a position to contest this? They're gonna lose the purple as well for Super Ken. He doesn't have that. This buff right here, stolen by the Philippines, is super crucial for a hero like Super Ken on this Fanny. If he doesn't have it, he loses a lot of that ability to move around, and that's why he's planning himself, taking a risk to possibly get another. Look at the damage, 𝐅𝐿, he gets him off camera, but around the buff. So they lose a member. Can they somehow contest this Lord down? A lot of magic damage. Gonna be going for it. Torn apart memory. 𝐅𝐿 trying to save this fight. Goes in with the jump. No Fury from 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅. Huge setup though. Turning it around. Double kill already. Last insanity going to use. Here's Super Ken. Can he turn it around? He goes in, gets the killing spree, and gets out of dodge. The Lord will reset.
What an advantage. Trying to get the first kill. 𝐅𝐿 is not yet stopping. That is a 6-1-4 onto this Brody. Eyeing the first tier turret in mid. Philippines takes it down and has a better way in taking this Lord.
They might start it up here. They know that in just a couple seconds, 𝐷𝐶𝐿 will be up. He'll make his way to this Lord if they need him. But Super Ken, mobile as he is, will get here for the information, the possibility to steal the Lord away. They're gonna hold it up, it resets. Again, both teams fighting for this first Lord of the game. This will help them push into each other's bases, focusing on these turrets. They're gonna go ahead and give it a go. Vin goes in, rolls in.
Super
gonna
Ken
get dragged a little bit.
Look
There's the
Super
knock
Ken,
up.
though.
He's in trouble, will fall. Super Ken is still waiting, down a member. Vin is
Looking
gone.
for a chance.
Gonna come down to the retribution. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 gonna
spotted.
spot him out. Can he go in? No, it's secured by 𝐷𝐶𝐿, and Super Ken has to get out.
Okay, now all of the objectives slowly being cleaned up by Philippines, forcing them to attack. Super Ken dropping on half HP. Cannon as well securing most of the front line and just pushing towards the mid lane. We have a follow-up also from the Lord up top. Defensive-wise, or defense item-wise, Philippines has more ways to answer the sustain of a Faramis right now against Moreno.
So for Indonesia, look at this. They're working down from an 8,000 gold deficit. Super Ken is left to decide, what do I do? Is it to get a kill here on 𝐅𝐿? He's going to go ahead and try. Wind of Nature already popped. He has a couple of marks on him. Torn apart memory! Will not be able to get him because of the range. He stays alive for now.
That was so close. That was really close. If he had an extra distance, he could have gone down right away.
He's cabling. He's cabling.
We need to check the defense department right now of Indonesia. We have 𝐷𝐿 and Dominance Ice present for the Uranus, a bit of a frontline cover, but for their own roam. We have the COD, we have the Lightning Truncheon, we have Mana. He has more ways to respond and to complete more of the CDR.
Okay, they're going to go ahead and assault the base here. First Lord of the game will be able to get them a turret. Vin taking quite a bit of damage. Has nowhere to go. Will fall in the jungle. Last Insanity pushing them back. They'll be able to clear this Lord here. Can Super Ken get a kill?
Cannon.
Can't. Cannon has the immortality, still able to stay up as well. They're in trouble, so 𝐷𝐿, couple hits away, will survive for now. 𝐈𝐿 Fury goes through. NetherRealm taken care of. Might be looking to end the game here. Super Ken trying to turn the tide of this fight. They lose the mid turret as well. Still looking for a kill. They push back the Philippines. They're playing with risk here. They have to turn this around. They're going to go in. 𝐷𝐿 goes past the wall. 𝐅𝐿 will fall. And they're still going. The Philippines might be in trouble here. 𝐅𝐿 popping the Wind of Nature, looking for the kill. Can he get it? 𝐷𝐿 stays alive with the go away. And they hold on. But meanwhile, 𝐷𝐿 1 versus 4 will fall in the jungle. But Super Ken sweeps in, gets his buff.
There was just fights all over, looking for a way to shut down 1 or 2 members out of these teams. 𝐷𝐿 falling down, Vin falling down, looking just by the damage. They're capitalizing on Socket to get those kills and items in by looking at those bursts coming from this Melissa. He has now the Golden Staff. He has more ways to utilize this Inspire. It's on cooldown, but it's so much effective. Being in the front line, Moreno, even by the presence of this Uranus, is a better way to buy more time and to throw models right away and use that I'm on you. can see potential of a comeback here for Indonesia. If they keep holding this time, if they keep buying more time and find an avenue to go for a back line against Philippines, it's the answer for them to take a great fight up until this Lord is about to be taken.
Now that both junglers focus on this area of the Lord here, you're going to see them get in position once again. Super Ken has to get the information he needs to really contest this, but keep an eye on the map. There's some pressure here that the Philippines wants to put on. Philippines does this. That's exactly what they go for. And now, as the Lord is still worked on here, held at half health, this is that Lord dance, like we like to call it. Both teams just holding it down. The purple buff is up. They know that Super Ken needs this. They have the information they need. They're going to make him try to either use the Retribution or get it.
No.
He uses the Retribution to secure the purple buff. They have the information, and Philippines will punish for that, taking the Lord here. It's up to Indonesia to defend against this Lord push.
Good resource forced out. Super Ken, he needs that purple. He needs that important objective, being just the Fanny, the damage dealer, and also Salkin here being pressed on the team fights. They actually would really want that, but that time around, it was just Philippines. They were diverting the attention, and they were just taking down the Lord. Now they're pushing in mid.
And this is what it could come down to for Indonesia here. They've got to deal with this Lord. They got to deal with the minions. There's the CC coming through. Ken, he's in trouble. The pickup, that is huge for the Philippines as they assault the base here. Looking to take game number 3. Last Insanity pushing them back, and there's nothing that Indonesia can do. Down 2 members. They'll focus on the crystal here and take game number 3.
This is still strong. 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 and 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 for Philippines.
So as we get a last look of these lineups for both these teams, again, this is match point here for the Philippines. They had a very strong game. The last one really able to control a lot of the pacing, but that was on the whims of Indonesia picking a lineup that was so hyper-focused, so meant on momentum and snowballing, that it was difficult to pull off. So here we go, jumping into the land of dawn. Match point in the grand final for the Philippines, wanting to take this title from Indonesia from last year in Bali. Can they pull it off?
This is tough. A championship, a defending title on the line. How will Indonesia? Will they see a chance to recover? A lot of ways that we can actually see the opportunity in their lineup. This execution will actually matter. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐄 trying to poke on Moreno with the aid of 𝐼𝐄𝐒𝐄, trying to peel them off slowly. Using that Retribution, Super Ken secures his purple.
Thanks for the heals, by the way. So he grabs that, but this is what you expect, right? The 𝐈𝐿𝐼𝐍 did the same thing in the previous games. When it was locked in, you're just trying to poke down, to put pressure, especially around the buffs. You see them utilizing that, the kit, the burst fireballs, right? And it also, the thing about it too is the fact that when you have this buff, which you shouldn't technically have, it allows you to do a little bit more than you should. The pressure there is going to help them scale with this early game, right? 30 seconds away from this turtle. It's great if no one goes down for the first blood before it so they can actually battle it out, but looking at these, who has the level 4? They need the level 4 advantage. Moreno could be in trouble.
Saison is on level 4. Moreno could actually be taken down here, stun and a taunt. 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐄𝐒 takes first blood.
As I was saying, man, right before the turtle, it would be great if none of the teams had the first blood, because then you can really contest this one and start the pace, start the momentum for your team. But with Moreno going down, he's going to need a little bit longer. Doesn't have the level 4 yet, right? Doesn't have the ultimate. Poking in the XP lane, fighting for the turtle. Might just be better. Give this up to the Philippines. Let them take it. Let's see if we can find something elsewhere.
Astral Echo was trying to make a poke out of the last hit onto the turtle up top.
It's happening
Salkin
again.
falls down. Off-cam kill, Ricatiano and 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐄𝐒 with the aid in the gold lane. Rotating quickly, 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐄𝐒 on this first item pickup. Elegant Gem and the boots. He's getting busier by the minute.
It's deja vu. 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐄𝐒, 2 kills in, nearing that 3-minute mark. He just needs one more, and he's literally the same situation he was in the previous game. And what does that do for him? It helps him scale really well. He's almost done with his Clock of Destiny, which is a scaling item on someone like Farsa. It gets really scary dealing with that burst damage with the Feathered Airstrike. So Indonesia, they gotta slow it down a little bit, right? This early on, you're already down 1.5k gold. You have to be able to buy time, especially the fact that, yeah, 𝐄𝐒 on this Clint pick, he's gonna be a little susceptible to ganks, right? You really have to be able to watch out for him. So with that, that was it. That was being picked up. The Clock of Destiny locked in here.
Good taunt there. 𝐶𝐈𝐾𝐍 being in trouble, used to force out Turtles Poissons, and we have the Feather Airstrike poking and bursting him down. He's peeled. Now he's forced to take on his own jungle camp objectives. Meanwhile, down bottom, Cannon and 𝐷 using that vengeance to slip out of the area. 𝐷 taking down 𝐿𝐼𝐶. Now action is up top. Four members of the Philippines here. Vin coming in from the phase, and now Vin flickers out for safety. Philippines trying to gain additional coverage in the first 4 minutes of the game.
This is complete control in the early game right now. The Philippines, they are unrelenting. They don't want to let up at all. And this is exactly what you have to do when you have this lineup, right? You want to scale in really quickly. You want to be aggressive when you have the Valier. You're looking for these stuns. Indonesia, they're looking to make a play on the top side. They get the flicker out. Look at the Searing Torrent. Pushes them back. That's the power of a Valier right there.
Debuff, push back, and also knock up from this hero alone.
Valier. He pays dividends in dealing with a lot of that initiation, right? That's why you pick him up.
A growing threat, a problem. They would need to answer with a magic defense item early on. This first 5 minutes, Philippines secures another objective in this first 5 minutes of the game.
So with that, 2 turtles in. They further the gold lead that they have. Economy going way in the favor of the Philippines at this point. First item's already pretty much being picked up. On to the second. Indonesia needs time to build back up here. They have to be able to choose their own fights, but at what cost and at what pace do they go for? Here, it looks like they want to go for Cannon.
Cannon receiving the Astral Echo, that's the poke, using that final way to evade that momentum. 𝐷𝐾𝐍 flickers out for safety, using one of his own passives to escape the possible takedown. 𝐿𝐼𝐶, though, taking on the turret up top, down bottom.
Okay, still finding anything they can. Indonesia still trying to get on the board here. That's the problem, right? They need a kill. We still have 1 turtle left. And if they can actually contest it, it would be great for their favor. They're starting to get to the point. Big part of it is, do we at least have our first item? Do we have, are we building towards that second? Oh, Final Slash.
Final Slash doing the work for Philippines. Forced out, a last insanity out of 𝐷. Now he's forced into his own defense.
Flicker too.
Back in the turret, 𝐶𝐈𝐾𝐍. Moreno tries to clear this up. 𝐶𝐼𝐶 being taunt, using the taunt onto 𝐶𝐈𝐾𝐍. Trying to poke him down. Present for the purple and the orange. Damage, using the Torch Persons to slow him down. Cannon, on the other hand, they're ready for reinforcement. They back away. Indonesia respecting the damage in the first minute. But 6 minutes in, Philippines rotating quicker, trying to contest this portal. Meanwhile, up top, Cannon, though, clearing more of the minions in.
And here we go, right? Third turtle almost up. They might look to contest it. Mid lane going to be the focus here, though.
Moreno dropping down low. He could be in trouble. Cannon, though, on level 9, closely getting another attribute for damage. Philippines still a slow engage. No skirmishes at 𝐼𝐶.
This is probably just another turtle in the hands of the Philippines, unless 𝐶𝐈𝐾𝐍 comes through here for Indonesia. He's got to do it. He's trying to get the vision, won't be able to get it. Now gets collapsed on. He might, yeah, he has to use the ultimate. So another resource down. That's 3 for 3 for the Philippines. If they wanted to end the game in this game 4, they're well on their way for it. The gold lead's starting to build up. You can see a lot of this hesitation from Indonesia, but that's honestly what they have to do. You're so far behind in the early game.
We can't blame them. They need defense.
You have to build it. You have to build it back up. You have to choose your fights.
Speaking of fights, though, 𝐶𝐈𝐾𝐍 might drop low. 𝐷𝐾𝐍 securing the kill onto Indonesia. 𝐷 receiving damage, being pushed back by the Searing Torrent. 𝐷 now, no Firaga armor, is now being denied to use that ult, but the Praetor Stride right connecting onto the damage. 𝐶𝐼𝐶 with the pokes. Moreno trying to push out more, but the peel is not enough yet. but with the push and the turret takedown, Philippines slowly advancing. 3 turrets down for Indonesia.
Berserker's Fury being picked up here for 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 on that Irithil. As I was saying, it takes time to build up, but when you have this kind of early game to mid-game transition for the Philippines, it happens a lot sooner, right? And at the same time, he's only got 3 of the items that he needs. If he gets that 4th one, it's really going to start to hurt. And this is, once again, when we look back at the MVP performances from the Philippines for 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅, the team allows him to be in this environment, to get to this point, and it'll really start to shine as we get further into the game. You can see them really focusing. Now their eyes set on these tier 2 turrets. Again, Indonesia doesn't have much space to work with, only 1 turret down. They're kind of forced to stay on the defensive here on this side of the base. Another tier 2 falls in the bottom lane.
Still a slow start. Feather airstrike, 𝐅𝐿 trying to take down. Successfully, 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 falls down. Eyes on the mid lane. Philippines looking to clear up more in the turret defenses. Going back to your thought there, Irithil, is Irithil now completely a force, a complete damage tool by just pushing around the map?
She doesn't really, like, that's the thing though. Like for Indonesia, that's just one problem, you know, that you're dealing with at this point. Now it's the Lord being just taken freely by the Philippines. So you're back to this. Backs against the wall. We have to defend. We want to extend this series. We can't lose it here for Indonesia. Do we have what it takes to actually defend against this? Yeah, well, yeah, it's only the first Lord. We should be able to clear it rather quickly, right?
Yep.
But right now, 𝐷𝐃, he needs more time. Clint, and if you guys noticed from the draft, there was a lot of bans here focused on the gold lane, and there's a reason for it. You don't have these heroes that pop, that get picked up quite often to clear these lanes, to be on the defensive and handle these situations as well. Clint just needs a little bit more time. Berserker's Fury being picked up, that's a great step in the right direction. So 𝐷𝐿 just getting his Ice Queen wand. So now at least some of that slow here can help deviate the Philippines a little bit, but this is where it really matters. Losing the tier 2 turrets, holding on to these last 3 in your base. Lord still making its way here in the bottom lane. This is where Indonesia has to step up. They have to be able to defend.
Is this go time for Indonesia? Ashwell Echo being placed on 𝐈𝐿. He's trying to get on the pulse of damage. 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 has on target. He's now pushed back to base to regen. Still no casualty though, still safe. But 3 ultimates used by Indonesia to defend that wave and to defend a possible takedown by Philippines.
Rather successful defense, right? Again, it was only the first Lord. They should be able to clear it up pretty well. They picked up some key items for them as well. This helps them in the fighting department. Is it enough, though, to actually deal with a contestation when the next Lord comes up? Probably not yet, right? They're still working down 9,000 gold deficit. And you can see it here. 𝐈𝐿 could be in trouble.
𝐈𝐿 being chased down by 𝐈𝐿, being chased down by 𝐈𝐿. Look at the damage. He can't do much. He now is on cooldown, 20 seconds for 𝐈𝐿 to retrieve and recall back. 4 members left to defend. Look at the damage. This is a complete destruction. Look at that cannon vengeing on through. Moreno using the Feather Airstrike on to their defense. 𝐅𝐿, and that is a pause.
Okay, just like that. This is a relatively low kill game, right? These teams are sizing each other up for the most part. We're almost 12 minutes in here.
Oh,
𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅 did die, yes. Yeah. He went down, but still, that's what I'm saying. Like, even then, you're still working from nearly 10,000 gold deficit. Before we jumped in this game, we were like, we've seen crazier things, right? We've seen turnarounds.
Crazier comebacks.
For the playoffs, yeah. Turn around, 10,000 gold behind, something amazing happens in your base, and then, you know, it flips over. That's what Indonesia is hoping for, which really comes down to, once again, 𝐷𝐃's got to stay alive. He's got a couple ways to stay alive. He's got Flicker. He's got the Bola. He can move back a little bit. But it's even up to the team. Like, how much peel do you actually have to keep your gold lane alive?
Speaking of peel,
Malefic Roar. That's great.
3-level XP gap against 𝐸𝐿. 3-level gap against 𝐷𝐃. Damaged by just his own basic hits. Movement speed-wise, he's quicker, he's agile, he's mobile, quickly escape possible takedowns, but now they need more damage. That was a good point that you were trying to mention about the items. Right now, it's not really ready for Indonesia to have this way of managing a team fight.
Yeah.
So they're respecting the damage of Philippines right now and they're looking for possible ways to have a pickoff.
Okay, we're going to take a quick look at the items here while we wait for this Lord to spawn. As we were saying, Sakin needed time to build up. He's gotten the time. Indonesia has done that, right? He's got the 3 items that he needed. He picked up the
Calculated, but now we return to the game.
Here we go. Once again, Lord has not marched in just yet. Philippines is managing these waves the best they can. Lord now will be making its way down the mid. They're going to go ahead and wait for that. Indonesia has to hold on to these turrets if they can. Is it going to happen? They'll have their work cut out for them. They have to be able to displace or at least react to what the Philippines is about to do to possibly end the series here.
Saison starting to fight Superkin, dropping down low. Cannon takes down one. Cerezo trying to hold in upon. Saison Regadiano, the damage is now in. The base is too open. Now Philippines is now taking the base of Indonesia. Remember their names. Regadiano, Saison, Cannon, 𝐈𝐄𝐒𝐅, and 𝐷𝐀𝐍𝐃 are your 15th IESF MLBB World Champions!
Such a dominant game there. The last one, game number 4 here, to take the title from Indonesia.